In the last example, we got to this point here where we're able to conditionally aggregate our data based on selection. However, we ran into this issue here where colors can start to repeat before the full palette has been cycled through as a result of how colors get assigned to a value based on their alphabetical ordering at the time that it first appears. And so the order in which you make selection happens to impact how colors are assigned to values. So this video is going to go through how you can ensure that your full color palette is cycled through before they are applied to specific values. So let's start off here by just bringing in our set, the district selection, and the district. So the idea here is that we're going to, instead of using a string value that's always changing based on what you select, we'll use a numerical index value as our to color our values by. So here, just to show you what this will do, if we make it discrete, it's going to, because the values then get assigned based on the order of the numerical value, if you have less than 20 districts selected, it will necessarily use every single one of the 20 colors before cycling through to the next color. Now, one thing you'll notice here is that we want a single consistent color across all of the districts that belong to this other category. So we'll use a conditional calculation to only return the index for the districts that are in our set. So specifically what that looks like is if it's in the set, then return the index table calculation function. Otherwise, let's give it an index of 0. And so you're going to see that there's an error here because we're mixing aggregate and non-aggregate data. The index is aggregated because it's operating on whatever level of detail you have in your visualization. So in this case, it's operating on these 3 dimensions, whereas a row level value, it needs to know how to aggregate up to also match the index at the aggregated sheet level. So you can just put a max around here or a min, it doesn't matter, it just needs to be some aggregation because we have the set in our sheet. When you do max of a field grouped by the field, it always just gives its own value. So this is going to be our color palette. And so let's go and apply this. And so here, if we bring this in, now you'll see, if we add the labels, it's giving us 1 up to 10 for the selection and then 0 otherwise. So that's what we want. We don't want this one. And let me go and add this to color as well here, and then just go make that discrete. Okay, so that's the basic premise. Now, let's go and apply this to our actual worksheet. So rather than having the district selection, let's make this discrete and then just put this here in our view. And you'll notice that other, because we assigned it a value of 0, which precedes the index, your other categorization is always going to have a fixed color. And you could make that whatever you want. So you could hard code that to, gray or whatever. So that's now working well for our specific sheet here. And you'll notice that as we make a selection here, it's always dynamically recalculating the values to use every single color that you have in your palette. It gets a bit funky when you start to select them out of order because these numbers are being assigned based on the sort in the visualization, which is based on the normalized price amount. So now we need to assign the same color to our moving average value. Now we can't remove the district from our set, or this sheet, because then we end up with the aggregated value. So we need to keep that here, just put it on detail instead of color. And then we'll put the color field on color. And now you see that this isn't automatically doing the right thing. It's now created this 282 values of different colors. So Never try and work this out from a visualization. I assure you, it will never make sense. But if you duplicate it as a crosstab, then you can start to look and see like what is actually happening under the scenes here. So let's go and reorder this. So we have our district, our month, and then our color. I'll make it visual. So let's just do something like this so we can actually see what's happening with that table calculation. And here you can see it's always increasing and then restarting for every district, which is not what we want. We want it to have a consistent value across the entire district. So in this case, what we can do is modify the table calculation to say, swap your order in your table calc so that it matches your viz. So we want to compute along district and month. That's now incrementing it the whole way. But then if you set it to be at the level of district, that then ignores the month in computing your calculation. And so it gives a single consistent value across the entire thing. And so now you can see that we'll get the same value here. Now, notice that this is applying to the sort that you have in your visualization. So here, Barnet is first because it's alphabetically first. So Barnet is getting light blue, whereas in this visualization, Kensington had light blue because the sort is based on the average normalized price. So we need to make sure that the sorts are synchronized across these two sheets in order for the colors to apply correctly. So what you can do here is modify the sort to be descending based on a field. And so the specific field that we were looking at is the normalized price, the average normalized price. And so now you'll see that Kensington and Chelsea is blue, City of Westminster is orange, Camden is light orange. And so now these colors are synchronized across both of the visualizations. So you could try and go and apply this in the other sheet, but personally I find it much easier to just rebuild the viz from here. Oops, I meant to put this on detail and then put this back here and then make it a line. And then make this continuous and remove the text. And so now we have these two views. So if we remove this crazy one and then add in this one, now you will be able to test this and see that it's happy days. Our colors are cycling through the entire palette. Let's just go all the way. And so, yeah, it's hit 21 before it restarts using the blue. So there you have it. Some Ultra Jedi magic tricks, and hopefully you learned a few things about table calculations as well. Thanks for watching.